Alright there, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. Another video on Old Red, our project 1983 Peterbilt 359. Today is finally interior day and I'm so excited. Oh boy, seriously, I feel like a kid on Christmas Day here. Oh my. Oh boy. Oh, that looks so good. Oh boy, oh that looks so good. Oh wow, that is nice. Oh, yeah, you guys are gonna like this. I think we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna start with the cab interior first. Get that all installed, and then after that's done, we're gonna move on to the sleeper afterwards. I've went ahead and I've kind of gotten all my parts separated. Got a lot of the interior panels just stacked inside the truck here for the sleeper. I've got the stuff from the front kind of separated out and laid out, kind of figured out. Now, daycab company sent a number of these cap head screws with the button covers and stuff with this. We got 2 packages of those. We've also got a number of black screws. We've got our door panels, our door pockets, all this stuff. Now, I'm really not an interior guy. I'm not an upholstery guy. It's not really what I do. So those of you guys that are watching the channel that are upholstery guys, try not to yell at your screens too much and bang on the keyboard. You know, I'm just gonna be kind of figuring this stuff out as I go here. I'm not an expert on anything, but I'm definitely not an expert on interiors. So we're just gonna kind of go through this and do the best that we can and kind of try to figure it out as we go. So I'm thinking I'm gonna kind of try to start easy, probably do door panels and stuff first. I kind of want to get the doors all put back together anyway. So we're probably gonna do door panels first. But first thing really need to do is get rid of this old Kenworth seat. I know a number of you guys have probably been waiting for that since day one. I remember back when I first started this project, very first video on it, right away I was getting comments, oh my god, you can't have a Kenworth seat in a Peterbilt. Thing is, it's a glorified milk crate for moving the truck around till we get the interior in. We got different seats that are gonna go in this truck after all the interior panels and stuff are in, so we're gonna go ahead and get that thing out of the way first. And I can imagine you guys can hear that on camera, man. That wind is just a whipping outside. I think the weather forecast is calling for 40 to 50 mile an hour wind gusts today. And man, they ain't lying. It is frickin' blowing. Oh. You know what? I give up on trying to get these bolts out of here. I'm gonna blow them off with the plasma cutter. boy, that's heavy. So first things first, just kind of test fit this door panel on here. Oh yeah, that is just fantastic. Okay, so we're gonna need to cut out the little hole here for the window crank. You can see the daycab company's already got a hole cut out of the backing for it. We're just gonna need to trim the upholstery so that that can come through there. Should be a pretty simple deal. Okay, so now I think we should actually be able to trim that right in place. There is a little circular cover that goes over that behind the crank handle, so I think if I just cut a little, cross slot in there just so that that can poke through when that cover goes on, that's gonna look just right. So I think what I'm gonna do, so we've got the crank handle in the hole there. You can see when I push on it, see it makes an impression on there. So we're just going to get this panel all lined up here, right to where I'm real happy with everything. And then I'm going to put the first screw right down here in the center of the bottom. And I'm just going to use some of these supplied black screws for this on that black carpet. Just going to try to eyeball the center here. Don't you move on me now. There we go. Okay, so now we should just be able to press that against there. Cut a little cross slot both directions. I think that's going to work out quite nice. I think next I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab this sill plate and we're going to put that on, and then I'll figure out additional places I need screws. Obviously our cubby or little door pocket here, the screws will screw through that and that'll secure that down there. We'll probably end up with a screw over here and a screw over here, and then hopefully that's all we really need. I don't want to put any more screws in this than I really have to, so I think that's going to work out. Man, now you guys just can't tell me that that does not look amazing, man. That looks freaking awesome. I love it. I think that's so fantastic. Daycab companies, out there making these new interiors for these old trucks. I mean, just talk about a night and day difference this is going to make on this truck. Now, I guess, someone could say, oh, well, I don't like the colors you choose. Well, that's another fantastic thing, man. They got almost an overwhelming number of color choices and pattern choices and different things that they can do, and you can really customize this to suit what you want to do and how you want your truck to look. I kind of wanted to try to stick to fairly neutral colors. I'm going to be spending a lot of time in this truck when it's all done, so I didn't really want it to be real loud and in your face. And yeah, this to me, I mean, that looks just absolutely amazing. So yeah, to go from this tired old saggy door panel, it's all mushy and falling apart and dirty, and another thing, this is all a stamped pattern. None of this is sewed. This is all stitched VIT. Everything's stitched on this. It's really high quality, nice quality carpet bottom panels, and you just compare that. I mean, that's night and day difference. Yeah, I mean, you can see this factory backing panel, it's all soft, it's falling apart. Now the daycab company uses really high-end, high-quality backing material, which is really going to make this interior last. Okay, so driver's side door panel is now on. About the only thing I did different is this screw that I put in here to kind of hold this span of the panel. I put it right where the sewn seam is here rather than putting it down here. I think that looks a heck of a lot better. Really wish I would have done that on this side, but like I said, I'm figuring this out as I go. I did try taking that screw out, hoping it didn't leave much of a mark, but yeah, I'm gonna have to leave that screw there. Now looking at the rest of the interior panels here, it looks like the next one that needs to go in is this headliner for the cab. Now I say that because you can see how this end here is kind of unfinished in a way. I mean, it's not unfinished, but I mean, you could tuck this down and glue it, make it look really nice. However, you know, these corner pieces, they're finished, so I imagine that this piece is supposed to overlap this piece. Now, kind of unfortunate this is next because I do have a bit of work to do on this. Hoping to start with the simplest stuff first and kind of build up my knowledge and my confidence on this. But so these factory speakers, sorry you're in such a shadow here, but these factory speaker locations, looks like that headliner piece splits right down the middle of that. And I have kind of test fitted this stuff up into place, and it looks like where they've got the cutouts marked and stuff are accurate, but I'm gonna have to take these speakers out, and I'm gonna have to trim this cutout here so that the speakers can mount in. And then also for interior lighting, I'm gonna go with these recessed LED lights, and I'm gonna have to drill or cut holes for this recessed lighting to go in. I'm thinking probably one in each corner like this, and then one or two in the center. So it looks like I'm gonna have a little bit of cutting and trimming to do. So I guess we're get to do on that. Okay, so I think I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna do these light holes first. Main reason being, I'm gonna have to cut this kind of reinforcement band that they got right here. Now I don't really think that's gonna be an issue once it's installed, because that speaker is gonna be sandwiching this all in, and that's all gonna be really secure there. I don't think that's going to be a problem, but I am going to have to move the panel around a fair bit here to do this, so I figured let's go ahead and get the lights in first, and I'm going to kind of pre-wire them and tape the wires to the panel so that when this all goes up in, kind of I'm not trying to fish wires in between the headliner there. So when I do this, I'm going to be moving this panel around quite a bit and flipping it over and doing all that. So I think this cutout's going to be the last thing that I do before I'm ready to put it in. So that's what that's going to look like. And then these lights are adjustable too. You can point them up or point them down. Okay, so I got my 3 dome lights in. Now some of you guys might wonder why I didn't center this between these VIT buttons here. And the main reason for that, because that was my original thought, is I wanted to go center. But where this is located entirely within where the factory cutout would be for the factory style dome light. So I just figured if I ever decided I wanted to go to a more factory style dome light, then this wouldn't affect, this hole that I put here wouldn't affect anything. It'd be located completely within that cutout. So I cut out the factory location, put that in there if I decided that that's what I wanted to do. So on the back side of all these, I got all the upholsteries folded back and glued. So that's all nice and secure there. We don't have to worry about any unraveling or anything there, but need to go ahead and flip this panel over and run some wires for these lights. And I'm just going to tape them right to the back side of the upholstery so that when this all goes up in there, that's pretty much a done deal. So there's my dome lighting. Go ahead and unhook this here and show you guys the wiring. So basically we got these all wired in parallel here. So all three of these are connected together. This is hooked up to the factory plug for the light to come on with the doors. And then this wire here is an extra power wire that I got. Let's get this. Just got it coiled up here and gonna shove this into the overhead console here. I'll still need to decide where I want to locate my manual switch so I can turn the dome lights on without opening the doors, but I'm thinking I'll probably run it through this overhead console down to the switch in the dash most likely. I might also possibly put a switch up there somewhere, but I still got to decide on that. Alright, so we got that in place here. This row of buttons here actually does line up to a support behind that we can screw into, so I think I'm just going to take two of these, probably, pop them out, and put a cap head screw in here with the button. I think that's going to work quite well. I wouldn't pay a whole lot of attention to this fit up around here because, in all honesty, this sleeper hole opening really needs to be rebuilt. My plan is to eventually do a big hole conversion on this truck, but it's just not a priority right at this exact moment. So, but I mean, it's actually really close, and I know that that sleeper hole is not true. So, just go ahead and sink a couple of these guys in there. And then the other thing about the sleeper hole opening there is there is a cloth boot that goes over this. It's going to cover all that up there anyway, so that's pretty darn nice. Alright, so I'm down to the last piece of upholstery for the front, well, other than the sleeper boot ring, which I'm probably not going to put in until after the back's in. I got a few things to do to this one. This I already did. The hole was already marked out on the back, so that was simple enough. And I just cut the upholstery back, put an electrical grommet in here, and this is where the pull cord for the air horn goes in. So I think that gave it a nice finished look there, and that should work out pretty good. I had a couple cutouts to make back here, one for the radio, and then this is the CV posts for the power, and then I got to cut a hole somewhere in here to run the CV coax through. So basically what I did is I just kind of held this up in place, and I reached around from the backside and traced out where I needed this stuff to be. Now really, kind of like the speakers, I can cut this out, and I could even probably cut it out a little bit larger. Just put a little slit in it, and then when I get it up in place, I can trim this as much as I need, and then when I put the radio in, it's gonna sandwich it all together and make it look real nice. So let me get going cutting this out and get this up in there. All right there, guys, so that is all the upholstery panels in for the front of the cab, and I gotta tell you, I've probably said this 10 times already, but I am so impressed with the work that these guys did. This is so much nicer than I ever could have imagined. You know, I don't even know if the camera even really does this justice. I mean, the quality of the materials and the workmanship, it is just fantastic. This is gonna make this so much nicer of a truck than I had envisioned. It's just fantastic. But I think that we're going to call this the end of this video, and we're going to pick back up on this on the next video. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe down below. Thank you. Have a great day.